Techbusters proudly brought to you by Ericsson.
Good evening and welcome to Techbusters. It's another week in the world of technology, in a world around us that's changing at a rapid pace. Well, we're hopefully here to make things a little bit easier and help you understand it a little bit easier. I mean, we struggle ourselves most of the time to try and understand it.
Speak for yourself. My job is to make him sound like he knows what he's talking
Oh,
about. Right?
really? Is that how you see it? But Tobes, you know, on a serious note, it's kind of hectic to keep up with the pace at which the world of technology is moving at the moment. It's astonishing, and especially in the world of artificial intelligence. I mean, the way that things are evolving so quickly, and it's Moore's law, hey? It's
You
Moore's
had
law.
me at intelligence. But first, let's take a look at what's coming up tonight.
Tonight on Techbusters, Aki test drives the new BMW 7 Series, Toby chats to Gary Turner, and Aki returns for a whirlwind tour of the technological marvel that is the harmony of the seas. All this tonight on Techbusters.
Hello, I'm Aki Anastasiou, and this is BMW's latest flagship model. This is the latest 7 Series BMW, and it's a very familiar car. It's currently in its 6th generation, but this one is very different, and BMW spend a tremendous amount of money on innovation and technology. And this car, one of the key differences in this car is the carbon fiber body, which makes the car a little bit lighter and helps a lot with the performance. So talking about high tech, this is the remote control for this BMW 7 Series, and you'll notice that initially it looks very similar like to a normal remote control, but from here you can obviously open the boot, open the car, etc. But I press a button and then I get this display on the BMW, and through this particular app that's built into this particular remote control, I can control the windows, I can control the temperature of the car, I can get more information about what the range of the fuel is inside the car, and I can even set the temperature that I want to feel inside the car before my trip. We're sitting in a 2 million rand car, but you really feel like you're sitting in a 2 million rand car. You've got this panoramic view of your sunroof over here. And the fantastic thing, which we will touch on in just a second, we're going to touch on all the technology that's actually on the dashboard, because that's where it gets really exciting. But many will say that, hey, this is not a revolutionary car, it's more of an evolution. And it's quite right, because BMW have continued to build on this, and they've really made this a much safer car. It's packed with the safety features that you'd expect, plus more. But it's the technology inside the car that really, really excites me. And if you can imagine the modern day car, think back to this BMW 7 Series, which is now in its 6th edition. The previous models did have sensors, the older models may not have had sensors, but the amount of sensors that are in this car, you don't actually notice it because it's so subtle. There are cameras that surround the entire car. There are sensors inside the car that pick up the temperature, for example. It picks up your hand movement, picking up the very movement of the vehicle. There are sensors in the engine. All of these devices are connected to each other with a multitude of computers, talking to each other, working out your driving experience to ensure that you get a luxury driving experience. This car over here has the ability to learn how you drive and adapts itself accordingly to give you the most luxurious ride possible. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the very latest BMW 7 Series, one of the most luxurious vehicles in the world right now, and it's a beautiful car. Simple as that. Beautiful, luxurious, packed with technology. So the first thing that you notice when you get in the car is that it's pretty quiet. You even get a welcome note saying, hello, this is you. And you'll notice that this dashboard is very similar in styling to the previous BMW 7 Series. But underneath this hood over here is where all the action and all the technology is happening. So what we do is we simply start it. And just remember that you can all set your seats. You've got different settings on the side of your seat, so every time you have somebody different getting into the car, they can have their own set seating, how they like the seat adjusted. So you might have a few family members who drive the car. You can set that seating arrangement. Now, if you look at the dashboard, for example, the first thing that you see is that you've got the Sport, you've got the Comfort, you've got the Eco Pro. These are the different settings. Now look how it adapts here on the front dashboard. On the actual screen in front of me, my driving screen, as I move to Sport mode, you see how it changes. It goes to red. When I move to Comfort Zone, it changes to a slightly different color. And then you've got the Eco Pro mode, which is the kind of setting that you want to go on, where you can save the most amount of fuel. The radio and everything over here is pretty much automated. You've got your sensors that are picking up the temperature, that you can adjust all the temperature settings over here on this BMW. But the real magic happens on this particular dashboard with this particular device over here. And this is picking up all sorts of information. Now, if you look at the traditional dashboard of this car, you've got all the settings over here. You've got your media, your communication, your navigation, your connected drive, which we'll talk about. But even on your My Vehicle, if you want to get your vehicle status, for example, it'll tell you that the door's open. If I want to find out what my tire pressure is, for example, when my next service is, and it actually warns you. It will say to you that this tire here is getting low in pressure, you might have a puncture, you might have something wrong with it, go and check it out. Then you can check your engine oil, for example. It tells you what everything is there. So there are sensors that are built into this actual engine that tell you all of this particular information. Now you'll notice that this car has got cameras situated around the entire car. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, and they almost they very cleverly stitch together the technology to give you a 360-degree view of the car. And what's amazing about this is that if there's a pedestrian or anybody walks behind us, it will alert me that there is somebody walking behind us. Now let's say, for example, I'm busy parking. And I'm busy going forward, and I'm going too forward, and there's an obstacle in front of me. You'll notice that it'll start beeping, saying that you're getting too close. It'll tell me when to stop. There you go, the warning lights are coming in. It says stop. There you go. And this is the kind of warning that this car gives you as you're driving. It's got all of these safety features so that these cameras give you a 360-degree view of exactly where you're going. So this is one of my favorite features of the car. You can actually set the design of this car to the way you like, okay? Now, if I want to, for example, now look at these beautiful orange lights, for example, okay? If I want to change the lights in the car and I want to change them to a different color, I can literally change these colors from here inside the car. So if I want to make this blue, for example, I just click on blue and it changes blue. Now this car has got about 12 speakers inside the car. These are the latest Bowers and Wilkins sound system in the car, and you can even adapt those speakers. You can change the color of those speakers and make them brighter if you don't want them too bright. Driving at night with this car, you really get the sense of how sexy this car actually is. And you can even change the exterior lighting, for example. You can change the lights around what you see. And the one cool thing about this is while you're driving, this side mirror, for example, sometimes you miss a blind spot, right? You can't see a vehicle coming onto your side. When a vehicle comes there, there's a bright orange light that starts flickering to say that there's a car near you, just beware. And it's also got special sensors in front of you as well, so that when you're approaching the car in front of you and you're too close, the sensors will say to you, hey, you're too close to the car in front of you, be careful, you can have an accident. So it's got super intelligent sensors that work together with this computing system to really make this driving experience not only pleasurable, but safe as well. So it really is incredibly smooth. As I'm driving right now, it doesn't feel like I'm driving a car. So BMW have got this really cool feature in their cars, and it's called concierge service. And this is basically it's a service that they have. It's a central line, a central area in Germany where you can phone as an owner of a BMW car, and you can find out and get details of restaurants. They can help you book stuff. They can help you, if you get into a BMW, find stuff around you that you might not know exists. You can actually watch television. But what happens is, as soon as you start driving, you'll notice the safety feature on this car will stop the TV from operating. So it's got these kind of safety features that are built into this particular car. So we're now stationary. The other cool thing about this car is, you know, when you're driving, and sometimes you can't control everything from here, it's got an interesting feature. So there's gesture control. So we're listening to music on a radio station right now. Let's say you're driving and you want to make this radio station a little bit louder. Watch what it does. There's a special sensor over here, and all I put my finger there, and I just turn my finger like this. Put it softer like that as well. So it's got this insane technology built into this, and you can even answer calls. So when a call comes in, you can use your hand gesture to actually answer the call, which is quite a cool feature in this latest BMW 7 Series. So it is packed with technology. If you want to listen to some international radio stations, for example, this car has got the ability to stream stations from all over the world. So you'll notice that we can actually stream from different radio stations around the world. So what it does and how this particular feature works is it works together with your phone. So you can download the BMW app on your phone. It shows you that there's the BMW app that you can actually download. You can have access to the devices. It connects to this particular screen over here. So while you're driving, once it's connected, you can actually listen to web radio, for example. So let's say I'm driving and I feel like listening to Greek radio, for example. You just click on the button, you can choose from different radio stations around the world, and you'll notice that in a second we're going to get a Greek radio station just coming through. Now this is being streamed from Greece, and it's coming through live on my radio in this car while I'm driving around the street. So it just takes a couple of seconds, depending on the signal and where you are, to actually stream the content. But there's Greek music coming through all the way from Greece. So now we are driving David to work in style. We're listening to Sepedi station Tobela FM, and we're taking him to his office in style. We actually found David going to work, and we said, listen David, come with us, we'll take you to work in style in this latest BMW 7 Series. Oh, look at these people now, they're going to get a big surprise. Don't open the door, I'll open for you. Thank you, Mr. David. Enjoy your shift. Did you enjoy the car?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, bye-bye. Do you want to come for a ride quickly?
Yes, if it's possible.
So Palesa and Sizwe, we are taking them on a BMW experience in the new 7 Series. Take a seat.
Hi, I'm Sizwe and I'm in the 750 Li M Sport Pack.
So what do you think of the car so far, guys?
I think the car's amazing. It's beautiful.
What is it about the car? I mean, there's obviously a lot of high technology. Tell us about the technology you can see and what's around your seats and what you can see at the moment.
Touch screens,
Just about everywhere.
everything, buttons everywhere, beautiful speakers, beautiful seats. I think the biggest thing that stands out is the luxury of the car. You know, you just feel like you don't even feel like you're in a BMW.
You don't even feel like you're in a car.
Like,
It's so you're like
amazing.
first class, I don't know, private jet or something.
Yeah,
Just
like-
on wheels.
They have really outdone themselves. Because my issue with BMW is that the exterior of the car looks good, but usually when you get inside, you don't get that wow factor. But the first thing when you guys asked, what do you think of the car? I was like, wow. Like, this time, they've really outdone themselves.
when I was on board this massive ship, the world's biggest cruise liner called the Harmony of the Seas, I got a chance to talk to the captain and the CEO of Caribbean International about the internet that they use on board, because they now have internet on every single one of their ships, so passengers can tweet and you can stream content. Never mind just the small amounts of data you need to use, but you can actually physically stream content from the likes of Netflix and Showmax. And the ship itself has some very interesting technology built into it. So this is me on board the Harmony of the Seas. I got a chance to talk to the captain, who interestingly enough is Swedish, but he's now lives in South Africa because he married a South African woman and he lives off in Jeffreys Bay. So tell us a bit about Harmony of the Seas. I mean, how would you describe her? And just tell us some of the interesting facts.
She's an amazing ship. She has something for everybody. It's a lot of activities. We have a lot of entertainment on board, and it's an adventure for the whole family, regardless of the age.
Now, she's massive. I mean, tell us about some of the stats.
She's 362 meters long, or just above that, 362.12 actually meters long, and we have 2,747 staterooms, so we have a lot of possibility to have different levels of staterooms. We have about 2,200 crew members on board working at all times, and we are ready for everybody, especially for people that comes from South Africa, to join us here. I would be very pleased to see South Africans on board.
The actual thrusters, I mean, this ship you were talking about, she's 20% more energy efficient, and you were just talking about how much energy you're actually using and how much power she's actually got.
Yes, we have a lot of power. We have 3 acipods on the stern that is propelling the ship forward when we're out at sea. We can also turn them 360 degrees around to give us the same power when we're doing the docking and the maneuvers. On the bow, we have bow thrusters, 4 of them, and they are 5.5 megawatts each. So we do have a lot of power in order to turn the ship around, because she's quite big. As I said, 362 meters long and 65 meters wide, and of course it creates a big wind sail area, so we need the power in order to dock her in the different ports that we go to.
And in terms of the energy, I mean, what kind of range and how much fuel and how much water do you carry on board?
Well, we carry about 4,500 tons of fuel and about 4,500 tons of water. We are pretty much self-sufficient in the water capacity. We generate our own water on board from the ocean via reverse osmosis program, and so we're basically self-sustained. As long as we get fuel, we can go as long as we want to.
So now we're actually where we're standing right now. You can actually feel the ship moving a bit. So the waters outside are a bit choppy, but it's amazing the stability that you have on the ship. It's quite extraordinary because it's rough out there at the moment. Tell us about the stability on the ship.
Well, we have a very high stability. The ship is very wide, and we have a lot of weight down in the bottom of the ship, and therefore the ship becomes very stable. We have lighter areas and lighter material up in the upper decks and heavy in the bottom, and that makes it very stable. We also have obviously stabilizer that we are putting out. Basically works like airplane wings that we take out, and then they minimize the rolling movements of the ship.
So I mean, it's very different when you've got a ship like this designed on the docks, right? And in principle, when you've got everything down on paper. But has anything surprised you about the ship? Anything that you said, wow, that's interesting, I didn't know she could do that, or I didn't know she would react to something like this when we're actually at sea?
Well, when we took her out for our sea trials, it's when we really put the ship through everything that we possibly can. Hopefully that we never experience it when we have the ship in service. And how fast she was, she is really, really fast. She's doing over 25 knots, which is considered to be really fast. And that is due to the fact that we have tried to design the ship very energy efficient. So we have a more slim hull, and we have a couple of other things that makes the ship go faster, if you call it that way, or use less fuel to propel the ship at the same speed. And also how fast she was stopping and how maneuverable she was. On full speed, we stopped the ship in 1,800 meters, which is considered really short. It feels long if you compare to driving a car, but if you also compare it that the ship is 360 meters long, so it's only about 5 ships length, and there's no car in the world that stops in 5 ships length from full speed.
And the technology on board is fascinating. Tell us about the maritime technology, just the general technology is astounding.
Yes, we obviously try to do the latest technology in all areas, which include obviously the bridge equipment, as well as on the engine controls, and all around here we have fantastic internet. We have the fastest internet at sea. It's called the VOOM, which making sure that everybody can stay connected and they can watch movies and stay connected when they are on a cruise, if they want to. If they don't want to, they choose not to, because after all, it should be vacation, right? And I hope everybody has a lekker braai, because when I get home, I know I will have one.
2, 1, go!
I got stuck. Yeah! It was fantastic.
It takes some doing to be voted the #1 most innovative growth company by Forbes 2 years in a row. And a little New Zealand business is that company. They're called XERO with an X, and they provide very clever accounting software that's giving a run to the big players around the world. I spoke to Gary Turner, who is in charge of bringing it into South Africa, about this clever software and the impact they think they can have with small businesses in the country.
So people come to accounting and accounting software with actually really low expectations, because we've been trained to expect not very much from technology when it comes to running a small business and running small business accounting. And so when we got going 10 years ago, we had the vision of how can we transform that? How can we make accounting something that people actually enjoy doing, and gives them a sense of control and gives them a sense of knowing where the business is going? And so we've invested a lot of time and effort coming up with fresh ideas, fresh thinking to old challenges, such as getting your bills out on time, getting paid, managing your cash. And the funny thing is that if you give a small business tools like that to help them run their business, not only are they in control, but they love being in control and love seeing where their business is going. And so yeah, lots of our customers tell us that they love using XERO, which is not something you usually associate with accounting.
So as I understand it, part of the reason you've made it so successful is that you've gotten rid of the accounting terms like debtors and creditors and, accounts receivable.
Yeah, so we don't use debtors and creditors and all those old accounting terms. It's money in and money out, and simple things that business owners and entrepreneurs can get their heads around. Not everybody trains to be an accountant, and a lot of small business and entrepreneurs actually have a mental block when it comes to that stuff. So they don't really understand it naturally, and they therefore put it back to the end of the week or the end of the month when they have more time, or they try and get help from somebody else to do it for them.
So there's an interesting statistic about how long it takes for people to pay you once they get an invoice, like 45 days, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, what we see is businesses that come onto XERO for the first time kind of bring with them their bad habits of bad invoicing and bad settlement terms in terms of the way that customers are paying them. And we've seen in all the markets that we're in that over 90% of invoices are paid late, paid overdue, even by a day or even longer. And a lot of the focus is on how do you get my customer to pay me more quickly? And we've got some really cool ideas about how we do that. Make it easy for your customer to pay you. They do actually want to pay you. It's not that they're trying to hold on to the money, it's just that there's some obstacles in the way. So we approach it from the point of view of how do we make it easier for your customers to pay? But one of the biggest things, and it's kind of a guilty secret of all small businesses, is it's not just customers that take a while to pay you, but you're really lousy usually at getting your invoices out because you're busy running your business, servicing your client. And so we've come up with ways of enabling you using your smartphone to generate an invoice there and then in a coffee shop. You've just finished a job, and compressing that whole time to bill to time to collect the cash as much as possible. And we've seen huge improvements in cash flow for small businesses that work that way. And so we've grown really quickly because we saw that there was a huge opportunity to serve millions of small businesses globally who are generally relying on things like spreadsheets or manual records. Indeed, in South Africa, 40% of all SMBs we surveyed were not running software to manage their affairs. So a 1 or 2% improvement in small business productivity could translate to a huge improvement in the overall economy in South Africa.
And you've had a very good accolade from Forbes, the magazine in America, that's called you for 2 years running the most innovative growth company in the world. That's a nice bit of compliment.
We're really proud about that, and that's really a testament to the different way we approach this. We could have built accounting software that kind of looked like a cloud or browser-based version of what had come before, but we started with a blank sheet of paper 10 years ago, and so we didn't have the baggage of how accounting software should be. And as a result of that, we've come up with some really pioneering ideas that our customers tell us they love, helping them run their business in a coffee shop, on the way to the office in the morning, on the bus or in a cab, and really working on the business as much as working in the business. One of the biggest problems that small businesses face is the drudgery and the complexity of managing your financial affairs mean that you're very often in the business day to day and not taking a step back and seeing how your business is performing. And so accolades like the Forbes Most Innovative Growth Company is something we feel very proud of, and we want to retain that as we go forwards.
Thank you for joining us, folks. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Keep us in mind when you're thinking of your technology and you're using your technology. Do tweet us, and that's your cue
to say he is at Aki Anastasio. I am at Shapshack. The show is at Techbusters SA. #Techbusters. Thank you for joining us. You can also email us techbusters@abn360. Please tell us how much more of Aki's voice you'd like to hear. Good night.